I didn't sign up for this thinking it was going to be any sort of easy.
There's a saying that behind every great surgeon is a wife who does everything else.
If you can imagine yourself doing anything else, you should do that other thing.
And I think as med students, you want to play by the rules to a T.
It's got to be your true committed love.
I want to be a doctor, I want to be a singer, I want to be a mum maybe.
I went and spoke to a bunch of med students thinking I would find stressed out Gen Z. What I saw instead reframed everything you think about this generation. This is what Gen Z look like when they're committed to something. Take a look.
I always wanted to do medicine.
Yep.
Like since I was really little.
I did like a basic undergraduate degree with kind of the goal of getting into medicine. I think it's been in medical school that's made me realise that I actually want to do this.
I've always wanted to do some sort of emergency trauma sort of direction. I like the high adrenaline sort of crazy stuff. I find that stress drives me a little bit.
I wanted a sense of purpose. I wanted to set myself a challenge and I'm like, right, I'm going to do this. If you have the capacity to do something, you should do that thing. If I can actually cut it as a doctor or becoming a doctor, then I should do that. Because if I didn't, well, I'd just be squandering. And this is what I spoke about in my med interview, was law has people, doesn't have science. Has you doing good, but where's the scientific progress there? Being in the lab has science, doesn't have people. Medicine is science and people together, and that's where I want to be.
Do you see generational differences?
We're lucky to be going through uni in a time where there is a better acknowledgement of like work-life balance and that uni isn't everything, marks aren't everything, and I think that's a relatively new thing.
A lot of the older generation, we're in a very different world. The medical school landscape has shifted a lot in terms of who is in medicine and whose voices are heard in medicine. I think the older generation come from a world where medicine was very patriarchal and very prescriptive in terms of the hierarchy between the patients and the doctors. You know, where doctors were very respected and very sort of revered and patients did what they were told. You know, it was very directional, and I think that as medicine's evolving, it's a very different landscape. It's more of a collaborative. I think the generation just above us has been that change.
Every decade you learn medicine and it's totally different. All the science is different, and you'll still have some tutors, doctors, but who are using methods that aren't wrong, but they're just not necessarily what we are taught now. And so you have everyone with different opinions and things like that. The other thing is how they talk to patients, the language used, some of the sensitivities. And I think as med students, you want to play by the rules to a T because you don't want to get in trouble. One that often is brought up now is about pronoun use. You wouldn't have an older generation doctor proactively asking every patient they meet what pronouns you want to be called.
In medicine, the older generation is usually old white men who didn't have any responsibilities outside of medicine, and so they were able to put in their entire time and effort into being a doctor. That's just not really the case for most people now. Most people, you need 2 incomes to survive, and now that women are in the workforce, that's great, but they also maybe want to have a family at the same time. The older male generation don't necessarily understand that.
I really want to be a mum in the next 5 to 10 years. So I want to be able to have a job that works well with that. Now that I've chatted to a lot of doctors, I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, super mom, you can do it, but also how is that going to affect me personally? Trying to be a mom and then have a family and then also put all my effort into building my career.
I know some people who have taken a whole year off to have a baby and then come back, but then there's the aspect of you haven't worked for a year, and there's the safety of coming back to work and being a safe doctor still. You lose a bit of your experience if you've been off for a while, which is fair enough.
And why is work-life balance important to you?
When I don't prioritise my relationships and my hobbies and my family and things that just bring me joy, I end up quite unhappy. And so I want something that makes being able to prioritise those things a bit more manageable.
Do you think it would make you a better doctor?
Yeah.
Why?
I think so. I think I really like my GP, and I like that she has things that's going on outside of her job, and it kind of makes it easier to connect with people when they are a whole person, I guess. Yeah.
I didn't sign up for this thinking it was going to be any sort of easy. So I don't think in that sense it was too much of an adjustment because I knew what was coming.
People are more mentally well when they are more than one thing. When you have multiple parts of your identity. If something happens to fall off the scale on one part of your identity, be able to cope with that better if you have other parts of your life that are still intact.
Medicine, I suppose, can also in some ways become a lifestyle rather than just a job, with how much it can dominate all your free time. I mean, even once you're working, you never stop learning about medicine. Medicine's always updating.
If I was only a doctor and I didn't have anything else, if something was going wrong in my doctor life, which often will be, works really hard, really long hours, you have patients who are struggling, you have poor outcomes and you're seeing your patients suffer, you don't get what you want to get in your career, that kind of thing. If you don't have anything else to support your sense of self and energy into something else, then your mental health is much worse.
But I accept that there will be bad days, there will be difficult days, and that's just part of it. But that doesn't necessarily mean I don't, still make an effort to preserve those things.
I'm finding like exercising is what has saved me. Definitely wasn't exercising enough in first year of med, and I have drastically noticed the difference.
The classic thing of a medical student is that they lose all of their hobbies. So you just spend all of your time studying, you spend all of your time with other medical students, that's all you talk about. I went straight into uni after year 12, so I was 18, and now I'm 27, and I basically haven't stopped studying.
For me, it's being with my family and my friends and a wonderful partner, and that is what gets me through a lot, and having a life outside, which is really hard to do, especially in the earlier part of med school, in the preclinical phase where there's lots of exams and there's lots of pressure.
Yeah, this is going to be very much like a full-time job, and then some.
I'm excited about the work, and I'm excited about the knowledge that I'm getting. It's tiring and it's a lot and it's stressful and overwhelming, and that is a big factor in med school, but I feel sort of fueled by the processes as well.
I love the job, but I also love life, and I want to enjoy other parts of life that aren't work.
Beautiful.